YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with yet another Washington football team video, and in today's video, we're here with the time of the week. The game is coming up versus the San Francisco 49ers, so we're here to preview the game. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you can notify when I upload a video about the NFL, in this case, our Washington football team. Roll the intro, baby. We are Washington. Let's get it.
We Washington, we Washington, we Washington. We Washington, man, we Washington.
So, we here. Both teams are still trying to fight for a playoff spot. The Washington football team tied with the New York Giants at 5-7, trying to win that division. And the San Francisco 49ers are still trying to fight for their little glimmer of hope of making the wild card in the NFC West. So this is a big game for both parties. With another preview video. So unfortunately, it's time to put a nice little clean bow on the Pittsburgh Steelers victory, and it's time to move our attention to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, with the San Francisco 49ers, they were a team that we expected to be in the Super Bowl talks yet again after coming off the Super Bowl loss last year to the Kansas City Chiefs, but injuries have derailed their team thus far this season. Started with Nick Bosa, and their whole team has just been corralled by injuries. Jimmy Garoppolo is out. They don't even have their starting cornerback. They don't have George Kittle, so they've just been derailed with injuries, especially by their star players. So this team has a really good chance of winning this game. But like I told you guys, and even after the Pittsburgh Steelers win, for some reason, I have a bad feeling about this game. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, I don't know what that reason is, but for some reason, I have a bad feeling about this game. I feel like we have a great chance to win, but us getting it done is just going to be a big relief. Like I told you guys, I feel like this is a Lions game where we do everything right to win, and we just mess up at the end, and hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we take care of business. That's one thing I want to tell Washington fans. Yes, we came off a great win versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, a phenomenal win, but just because we beat them doesn't mean that we should overlook the San Francisco 49ers. We shouldn't overlook anyone. You know what I'm saying? We're still a 5-7 ball club. In fact, other teams still look at us like the same piece of garbage that we've been in the past. So even though we come off a great win versus the only undefeated team left, we cannot overlook the San Francisco 49ers. Now, with that being said, let's get into the keys to victory. So, the keys to victory, number one, is to get off to a better start. If you guys kept up with my channel this week and you looked at the new community post that I made in my community tab, I said if this team can get off to a better start in the first half, more specifically the first quarter, these games will not be close. And I stand on that. I really do. I stand on that statement, because if this team could just get off to a better start, especially on offense in the first quarter, we would be blowing teams up, because we are the best second half team in the NFL. So if we could just get off to a better start in the first quarter, move the ball down the field, and quite frankly, we never really had a problem with moving the ball down the field. It's more specifically, I'm speaking more specifically for that Lions game, and I know that's like a couple weeks old, but that's a game that really still haunts me. If we could have capitalized in the red zone, and when we get on plus side and step, with the penalties and actually bad play calling, we would have some good chances to get score in the first quarter, is essentially what I'm trying to say. And whether it's a field goal or something, I believe we still don't have a touchdown on our opening drive. I believe that the Dallas game, did we get a touchdown on our opening drive? I'm not sure. But I feel like we didn't get a touchdown on our opening drive. But nevertheless, we don't get off to fast starts. As you've seen with that Pittsburgh game. That Pittsburgh game, we started off down 14-0. You know what I'm saying? Offense couldn't get nothing going. Penalties, missed assignment, dropped balls, Terry McLaurin not making a catch. And that's all within the first couple drives of the game. So we got to get off a better start to key number one, because just like the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got up to a poor start. That's not the same for the 49ers. The 49ers, although they don't have the same star power that the Pittsburgh Steelers have, you never know what can happen, especially if a team that knows you, like Kyle Shanahan knows this team, although it's a new regime, they know how to exploit you. So I just don't think you can get off to a poor start. You know what I'm saying? Especially versus a team like the 49ers. So the next key on my list is to contain their run game. Now, their run game is something serious. I'm sorry to tell you guys this. We have been playing well against the run for the past couple weeks, but we have not played a team that was able to really pound the ball like these guys are able to pound the ball. They have Raheem Mostert, who's really been carrying the workload and has really been balling, man. So last time we played against a good run team, we all know what happened. You know what I'm saying? So, and we allowed the Giants to run all over us. We allowed the Lions to run all over us, and they don't have, you know, good run teams. So just imagine when we play against a guy like Raheem Mostert. I mean, if you guys go earlier in the season where we had the stretch where we played against a good run game, the Cleveland Browns, the LA Rams, the Ravens, they were all able to run all over us. So hopefully we can contain the run. Notice I say contain and not stop, because we're not going to stop the run game. You know what I'm saying? It's just no way you stop something unless you know you have a game plan, which I know Jack Del Rio can possibly scheme up. And if this defense is really legit, or this defensive line stopping the run is really legit, how I feel like it is, they're going to stop the run. But my game plan going into it, thinking that they're not going to stop the run fully, is to at least contain the run. Now, if you let Raheem Mostert gas you for $135 and a touchdown or two, then you know you're in a bad spot in the game. But if you can contain it to under 100 yards and maybe just one touchdown or even no touchdowns, you're in a good job, in a good spot to win that ball game. So number 2 on my list is to contain Raheem Mostert and that run game. Now, before we get to personal matchups and to the Kyle Shanahan talk, we have to talk about the last key. Now, the last key for me, honestly, we have 5 keys, but I really want to narrow it down to 3 because it's really not too much, because I was tired of sounding like a drum in each and every preview video, because I really, you know, repeat the same thing, because it really is the same thing with this team. Last key on my list is to take advantage of their weak secondary. Their weak secondary is just their weak spot of their defense, in my opinion, especially even with the injuries to the defensive line. Their defensive line is still good. They still have Solomon Thomas, Javon Kinlaw, the first-round draft pick. So their defensive line is still good. They still can get out of the quarterback. So that's why I don't want a lot of people to think that their defensive line is trash. Even without Nick Bosa, they still have a star-studded defensive line, in my opinion. Not something up to our caliber just because of all the injuries, but they're still good defensive line that can get after the quarterback and stop the run. So we have to take advantage of their weak part of their defense, which is their secondary. Now, one thing that I did see about the Buffalo Bills is that they run a bunch of man, or excuse me, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Buffalo Bills game is that they ran a lot of man. And they didn't even have Richard Sherman guarding Stephon Diggs, and in this case, it would be Terry McLaurin. So I feel like they're going to have Jason Verrett on Terry McLaurin, and if you're looking at Stephon Diggs, I'm not comparing Terry McLaurin and Stephon Diggs. All I'm saying is if you have Jason Verrett on your #1 target, one-on-one, it's going to be scary, especially for Terry McLaurin. And he wasn't able to stick with Stephon Diggs. He was getting beat like a drum. So just imagine what Terry McLaurin could do with him. And even if they do have Richard Sherman on him, I still feel like they're not going to be able to stop Terry McLaurin. Now, one thing that I will say about this offense and Terry McLaurin is I don't think Terry McLaurin will ever have another game like he did versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the only team that I've seen them completely take him out of the game plan, and that forced Cam Sims, Logan Thomas, J.D. McKissic to all step up and make plays to win this game. But I just don't see no other team able to shut down Terry McLaurin, because no other team really has a defense from the defensive line to secondary like the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Terry McLaurin is going to have a bounce back game, and I do feel like this is the game where he's going to reach 1,000. So that is enough for our 3 keys to victory. Once again, we'll go through them quickly. Is contain the run, get off to faster starts, and abuse this secondary with Cam Sims, Logan Thomas, Terry McLaurin, J.D. McKissic, especially with the underneath routes, because I know Alex Smith, that's what he loves to do. And quickly, we'll go over the defense. I guess predictions, whatever. So for the defense, we got to get off on third downs. Honestly, we got to get off on third downs. That's what we have to do, because we can't allow them to keep having long drives. Because although they have Nick Mullins, they will find a way to get some points on the board, especially with that run game. They're going to ride heavy on that run game, so we have to get off on third downs. Number 2 is to be quickly and simple and short with you guys. We have to get pressure on Nick Mullins. In my opinion, I feel like this defense is going to smell blood in the water as they do with every backup. And I feel like I don't want to put no stats out there because you guys know I don't predict anymore. But for the sacks, I will put a sack prediction out there. I'm going to say at least 4 because I feel like every time we play against a backup quarterback, we always smell blood in the water. So we got to get after Nick Mullins. That is really the only thing I really have to talk about for the defensive side of the ball is just get after Nick Mullins. You know what I'm saying? Get off on third downs and contain Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk because those are really their 2 main weapons. And other than that, they have to beat us every other way. Jordan Reed, maybe, I don't know, maybe he'll have some vintage in his heart for his former team. But hey, he has to. If they're gonna beat us through the air, he's gonna have to be the guy that beat us, not Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel. Now, before we get out of here, let's talk about the situation that everybody wants to talk about. This game is going to be, I feel like, crazier than last year because it's a new regime. Last year, they came in our house, they beat us 9-0. Kyle Shanahan gave the game ball to his father, and it was just a whole mess, you know what I'm saying? The rainstorm, you guys remember that game. And yeah, so it's a different team on both sides this year, and I feel like we have a great chance to win this game, and we have a great chance to get revenge because Kyle Shanahan came into our house, got his revenge, and now it's time for our go to their house and get their revenge, or in this case, the Arizona to get our revenge. But some personal matters that I want to see is I want to see how we're going to contain Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed, you know he's going to play with his heart out because it's his former team. 1. 2, Trent Williams. Trent Williams is another guy that we know that had bad blood and left on the sour end of the stick with the Washington football team, formerly the Washington Redskins. But once again, like he said in his interviews, just like Kyle Shanahan said, he said they're no longer here. The people that he hated are no longer here. Of course, Dan Snyder is obviously still here, but no one else. Like Bruce Allen was the main person that they hated. He's not here anymore. So hopefully that sounds true to where they say they don't have no bad blood, but we all know they really do. They're all really going to want to win this game. So I'm big curious to see what Trent Williams can or what Chase Young can do against Trent Williams. It should be a fun matchup. Now, I'm not expecting Trent Williams to get dominated by Chase Young, obviously. Trent Williams, although he doesn't play for us no more, we know he's still one of the best left tackles in the league. But hey, he got to go up against that young dude, Chase Young. And probably for the first time ever, guys, that Chase Young will be getting one-on-one coverage because Trent Williams said in his press conference that he's always planning to check the best guy one-on-one with no help. So probably for the first time ever, Chase Young will get one-on-one blocking for the whole entire game. So that should be exciting to see, and that should be exciting to see what he can produce in this game. So with that being said, before we get out of here, we're going to go quickly over the one injury report. Is Antonio Gibson, he's ruled out for this game. We already knew that he was dealing with the turf toe. Ryan Anderson was a full participant. Morgan Moses was limited, and Brandon Sheriff was limited. But they're all going to play. So the big injury that we guys have to look out for is Antonio Gibson, and I don't see him coming back to possibly the Panthers game. So with that being said, it's been Bo and Wangati. Like, comment, subscribe, help to Washington football team. You know, like I say every week, we don't predict the games anymore because every time we don't predict the games, we win. I'll leave the predictions up to you guys down below, and I'm out. Like, comment, subscribe, help to Washington football team. Peace.